This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the San Gabriel Valley. Today we are joined by Mr. Fix-It. His name is Miguel Santana, and he is the new president and CEO of the Fairplex, which is what, sir?
The Fairplex is 500 acres and the home of the LA County Fair, the largest fair in the country, one of the most successful fairs in the country. But in addition to that, we also have a child care center where we provide education to 250 kids. We have a hotel, a Sheraton Hotel on campus, and we also provide a number of educational services to young people, not only in the city of Pomona, but in the San Gabriel Valley.
So let's talk about the fair, because no doubt it's a lot of fun. I have friends that love it. Some say it's a little, it's on the edge of LA County, so that can present challenges as you're trying to lure people from, Santa Monica or Calabasas. But talk to us about the fair, the future of the fair, what you hope to do with the fair.
Well, the fair is an exciting place. I mean, we nearly have had 100 years of the fair. We're going to be celebrating our 100th anniversary in a few years. 1.5 million people come to the fair every single year. And it's not only a source of entertainment, but economic development. It's a place where you have vendors from all over the region, in fact, all over the state, that come in and sell the things that they're passionate about to local communities.
But I wonder, honestly, look, it's easy to convince folks from the San Gabriel Valley to come, because Pomona's in the San Gabriel Valley, essentially. But how do we convince our friends in Calabasas, in Malibu, in Chatsworth, that are on the other edge of LA County to come on down, Antelope Valley, to come on down?
Well, what's interesting is that when I started this job and announced I was coming to the Fairplex, I've heard from friends and family all over Southern California, some who live in the San Fernando Valley in the west side, who have their fair story, who go to the fair to share sort of a life and around agriculture and horticulture to their children, who want to go for a good time. Sort of no one thinks about Disneyland being far away.
Well stated, I like it.
But we've all gone to Disneyland.
And that's in another county. We're all in LA County
and
now.
I think we're perfectly situated between LA County, San Bernardino County.
Well stated.
We're not too far away from Orange County.
And
so
Riverside County.
Riverside. Yeah. So really, we're within a 30-mile radius. We have millions of people who come to the fair during the fall, but more than that, they come for other events. We just recently hosted the modern Pentathlon, which is an Olympic sport where people played or rode a horse, ran, swam, shot a gun, and fenced. And it's we had people from all over the world come and celebrate this amazing sport here in Southern California in Pomona.
Let's talk about one set of events that have caused some consternation, I think it's fair to say. Like you said, it's a phenomenal space, 500 acres, I think it is. And so music promoters will want to come to that space. We think about Coachella, they have their great festivals. I don't know that Fairplex is along those lines, but there are music promoters that use that space, and some use it very responsibly, and others have not. There have been raves. There were a couple deaths a few summers ago. You weren't there yet, so all good. Talk to us about that balance with, you want to allow for fun, you want to bring in revenue, but safety's of concern.
Well, first of all, we're an educational venue, and so all the revenue that's generated goes back to fund the educational programs. We bus in kids from all over the region. At the modern Pentathlon, there were kids as far as Linwood who came out to experience that. And we use the campus for a variety of purposes, concerts being one. It is really unfortunate that we had 2 deaths on the campus, and as a father of 4 daughters, it pains me that any parent would have to go through that experience. It is partly that reason that the board of the Fairplex made the decision to put a moratorium on all future EDM concerts.
So that's electronic dance music.
That is correct. And while certainly, it wasn't the concert that created the deaths, we want to make sure that we're not adding to another series of bad events at the Fairplex.
But the flip side of that is, like you said, the money gets plowed back in for educational purposes, and if you're excluding a category, there's a revenue hit. And so is there a way to look at EDM in the future bring it back, but in a safe and secure fashion.
We do think there's a way. In fact, we thought we had done as good of a job as we could in maintaining safety for that particular event. But what we want to do is to have a moratorium while we actually go through a strategic planning process to play out what is the best use of this campus, working in coordination with the City of Pomona, with our county supervisor, with our member of Congress and our state representatives.
Right, you have a committee
yeah,
right
we
now.
we have an actual committee that we put together, being responsive to the concerns raised by our neighbors, but also looking at how we find that right balance between maximizing this campus while at the same time being respectful of the surrounding neighborhood.
And let's talk about the neighbors, because as I understand it, the Fairplex is in LA County, but also in the city of Pomona, is that right?
That is correct.
And so the city of Pomona has some dominion over what goes on in the Fairplex. It's not unincorporated LA County. And I know that you're working with the city, neighborhood groups. I actually have a good friend whose parents live in Pomona. They're very involved in kind of Fairplex issues. And so I'm sure that's one of your priorities, to kind of smooth out neighbor relations, because prior to your arrival, they were bumpy.
Well, my priority has been to listen. So I've sat
stated.
down with all of our elected officials. I've sat down with our neighbors, with business leaders and civic leaders, and really we had opened up the Fairplex to listen to what their concerns are. And what's interesting is that I hear very positive things. There's a lot of families whose children have gone to our Child Development Center, or whose children are attending our educational programs. I've also heard concerns about traffic and noise. And so what we're trying to do is create a process to address the very legitimate issues that the community is raising, but at the same time figure out what does this campus look like in the year 2025.
And let's talk about that, because look, some would argue that the Fairplex prior to your arrival was underperforming. You were brought in for a reason. You are Mr. Fix-It, and I don't mean to be a sycophant, but look, they were smart. You know, you were CAO, I think, of LA City.
That's right.
You know from what you speak. So let's talk about 2020 and 2025. What does the Fairplex look like? Because in a lot of ways, sir, what a crown jewel that arguably has underperformed.
Well, I think it has performed. I think it draws 3 million people, half of them during the fair, half of them during the off season. We were very successful, $75 million revenue.
Right.
300 employees.
But I'm sure you're excited for the future.
I am excited about the future. And so what we're looking at is how do we make it even a greater economic engine in the community? How do we attach it to the jobs of the future? How do we make this a place where young people could develop a passion, a skill, and then pursue an actual career into the future?
And think about where you are. Cal Poly Pomona, Claremont Colleges, UC Riverside down the road, Azusa Pacific up the road. I mean, you have just, I'm sure I'm missing a few. You have so many great universities and institutions that would love to get involved, I'm sure.
Well, you're exactly right. We have the University of Laverne right across the street.
Right, Laverne.
I mean, we are fortunate in that we have a number of well-established assets that are the envy of many states, in fact, many countries, to have such strong academic institutions right within a 10-minute drive away.
I'd love for you to come back, maybe before 2020, to hear about the exciting developments in the Fairplex, because I do feel as if the best is yet to come. His name is Miguel Santana. He is the new CEO president of the Fairplex in Pomona, part of LA County. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.